Okay, a quick run through of interior angles for U6A2 Reach Ahead Math for the 1DE class. So this is U6A2, a little bit of noise in the background. It's lunchtime here at Beale, so you might hear some background noise. Interior angles of a triangle, interior angles in a triangle of the triangle, I guess, add up to, and the answer is 180 degrees. So why does that matter if I have triangle ABC? So we call this ABC after its vertices. And I know that this guy is 36 degrees and this guy is 64 degrees. I add those together, I get 110. And then what I could do is 180 subtract 110, and then I get that angle C itself is 70. So angle C, you can also call this angle ABC, or just C by itself if it's a triangle. What about a quadrilateral? Well, quadrilaterals, the basic one is your rectangle or your square. That's 90, that's 90, that's 90, and add those together. 4 times 90 is 360. And then you start thinking to yourself, there's 180, there's 360. That's twice as big, or maybe that's plus 180. I'm adding 180 from one shape to the next. What about the next size shape in a pentagon? If you measure the pentagon, so and it won't matter as long as it's closed. Oh, as long as it's closed, that's not a pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided shape. If I measured L, M, N, O, P, all these angles here, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, all the interior angles, if I measure them with a protractor and add them together, I would get 360 plus 180. I would actually get 540 degrees. And you can break this down into composite figures, and that might help out also. You can think about this. Here's a rectangle, here's a triangle, add those together, and then you get 540 degrees. And then if you go to 6-sided shape, you would get the next size would be 720 degrees for a 6-sided shape, a hexagon. Okay, and you keep going, and you realize that you take the number of sides. So here, in general, for an n-sided polygon, so for an n-sided polygon means that a polygon with n sides, n being whatever, for a certain number, so for a 3-sided shape or a 5-sided shape, or what, that's your variable, or a 7-sided shape, what you're going to do is take your n, subtract 2 from it, and multiply by 180. So for a triangle, my n is 2, right? 3 sides, n is 3, n is 3, I think that's a 2. 3 minus 2 times 180, does that work? 3 minus 2 is 1, times 180 is, in fact, 180. So a triangle, the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. You get a square, 4 subtract 2 times 180, that's 2 times 180, that's 360, and then this guy here, a pentagon, 5 subtract 2 is 3 times 180 is 540, and you keep going and you realize that this holds true. So you take the number of sides, subtract 2 from it, and multiply by 180 to figure out what the sum of the interior angles are, and then you work from there. So for example, if you have a 7-sided figure, you put 5 times 180, which is 900, and then if you want to figure out missing sides, right, you would add them together and subtract it from 700, sorry, 900, and then this is 700, 900, and then figure out what's missing. Okay, so regular polygons, one other thing about a regular polygon is all angles are the same. So if you have a regular polygon, like a square, for example, is a regular polygon, so is a rectangle, you know that all the angles are the same. So once you figure out that if you want to figure out what each of the angles are, you take your 360 and divide by the number of angles to figure out what the angles are. So in general, if I had a regular polygon and I want to figure out what the angles are in a regular polygon, and let's say it's a 10-sided figure, okay? A 10-sided figure has 10 minus 2 subtract, or 10 minus 2 times 180 total angles, interior angles add up to that. So that's what? That's 8 times 180. And if you can't do that in your head, that's what? 360 plus 360 is 720, plus 720 is 1440, I believe. So 1,440 degrees, which is the sum of the 10-sided figure. Okay, and if I want to figure out what each of the sides is worth, so if you have a regular 10-sided figure, which I can't really draw here, but if you did have a normal decagon or a regular decagon, then you would say, let's divide it by the number of sides to figure out what each side length is, or angle size is. Okay, so you figure out the total is 1440 by using the n minus 2 times 180, and then you divide by n to figure out that each angle is 144. 144. Anyway, I'm a little distracted. People are outside the hall, but I'll keep going. Exterior angles here. So if I want to talk about exterior angles of a triangle, last thing I want to add in here is just this little blurb about exterior angles of a triangle. If you have the angles here, LMN, if I did the triangle LMN, and I wanted to talk about, this is really the next unit, this is really U683, which you'll get to next. If that's 60 and that's 70, and then we go ahead and we subtract 60 and 70 from, so subtract 60 or subtract 70, or add them together and subtract from 180, you figure out that this is 50. Okay, so this is the interior angle here, is 50. And if you just have a triangle by itself, you can just call this angle N. But if you're talking about exterior and interior angles, you want to call this angle LNM. Okay, from L to N to M, because we're going to add another letter here, P, to figure out what this guy here is. This angle here is, and this angle here is LNP. Okay, so once you have interior and exterior angles, you can't just call this N, because am I talking about this N or that N? Okay, so now I want to know what this is, and if you know that this is a straight line, and we'll say that it is. Then you can say that 180 subtract 50 gives me this angle right here, which is LNP, which is 130 degrees. But the one thing you'll notice is 60 plus 70 is also 130 degrees. So if you ever want to find out what the exterior angle is in a triangle, it's the sum of the two other angles that are not in play here. So if let's just look at this real quick. If I have a triangle, and it doesn't matter if I'm asking about this exterior angle or this exterior angle here, it won't matter. Okay. If you just extend this line here, extend this part of the triangle, and if I know that this is 44, and I know that this is 56, and I want to figure out what this guy is out here, okay, what I can just do is add these two up together. So 56 plus 44 is 100, so this angle here is 100 degrees, and also, conversely, this angle here is 100 degrees. Okay, so that is that for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.